One of the first rules every entrepreneur should learn is that knowing your customers is key to getting and increasing your sales. Um, there is no customer called everyone. There is no customer called all of the above. It's important that you invest some time knowing who your real customers are. Don't make assumptions about who your customers are, which means that you need to spend some time knowing them. Invest some time in what Seth calls dating them. Avoid the smash and grab approach to getting customers. So the smash and grab approach is I come to you, I talk to you with the intention of getting a sale. And once I get a sale, I'm off. It's a smash and grab. You get what you want and you're off. The next time I get to see you again is when you're looking for a sale. So avoid the smash and grab approach. Know who you are going to sell to, and who's going to buy from you and who's not going to buy from you. So spend time with those who are likely to buy from you. Don't disturb strangers with your message. And typically as entrepreneurs, the first thing that we do is you start a business, you open shop, and you make noise. You make noise to everyone around who can hear you. Unfortunately, noise making is not a strategy. You need to be very deliberate about the type of customers that you're looking for, which means you need to spend time understanding them, knowing what they want, and knowing what they are hoping to achieve. So with that, I want to play a talk, one of my favorite thought leaders, Seth Godin, on this topic. Just take a look at this, and then I'll elaborate more thereafter.
What a chance of a lifetime. What an opportunity to reinvent, to make a difference. So how do you do that? First idea is this. There are two ways to get married, right? The first way to get married is to go on Tinder and swipe right. Over and over and over again, proposing marriage to every single person you swipe. This is a stupid way to get married. The other way to get married is to go on a date. If it goes well, go on another date with that person. Then on the third date, you meet their parents, they meet your parents, you get engaged, right? You wait till the seventh date before you tell them you're out on parole. This method of dating, it worked for me, maybe it worked for you. It's a smart way to get married. So why aren't you dating your prospects? Permission marketing is this idea of connecting to people who want to be connected to, marketing to people who want to be marketed to, delivering anticipated, personal, and relevant messages to people who want to get them.
So I found...
What a chance of a lifetime. What an opportunity to reinvent.
Thank you so much, Seth. So I found this topic to be quite an interesting topic. And what Seth is talking about, dating your customers, which means spending time knowing them, knowing what they're trying to achieve. And how do you do that? How do you identify your target customer or your target audience? It's very, very important, and that's what I want to talk about. You can't, like what Seth is talking about, going on Tinder and swiping right. You can't, just talk to everyone, and just, everyone that cares to listen, you speak to them. Number one, you can't talk to everyone. When you speak to everyone, you speak to no one. And Seth echoes this very well in one of his books when he says, everyone is not your customer. So it's important that you are able to know who your target customer is. And a classic example would be salespeople in car dealerships. So any car dealer that has over, say, 15 years of experience, knows their customers. So when someone walks into a car dealership, they know by just listening to the type of questions that the prospect is asking, they know the language that they use, and they're able to tell that this person is likely to buy or this person is just browsing. So often when you ask, when you go to an expensive car dealership, and the first thing that you ask is the price, a very good salesperson will know that maybe you're not necessarily going to buy, you're just trying to check for affordability. So very great experienced car salespeople, they know how by just having a 1 minute, 5 minutes conversation, they're able to tell if you are likely to buy or if you are just browsing. So knowing who your customer will also help you in determining the right message, what to say and how to say it. But also knowing your customers will help you in knowing who your customers are not. In other words, knowing who is just browsing and asking questions, and knowing who's going to buy. Number two, understand your customers' pain points and how to solve them. So when you know your customers, you are able to know what is their frustration, and you are also able to know how to solve those frustrations. So when you go to a restaurant, a good waiter will ask you, for instance, and this is one of the questions, one of my favorite questions, what do you feel like eating today? And I find this question, what do you feel like eating today, is far much better than what do you want to eat? I find that what you feel like eating today, it helps the waiter to understand what type of mood are you in. Are you hungry? Are you just looking to hang around? You're just looking for a drinks menu? It probes in a way that it also able to inform or educate the waiter on what you are likely to have today. So effectively selling your products or service is about understanding what problems you can help solve. And in order to do that, you need to understand the problems your customers are facing. So understand the pain. Knowing your customers helps you to understand their pain and how to solve them. So often, we tend to see the world from our own lens. And what might be a huge problem to one person might just be a small thing to another person. So what's important is to understand and to ask questions. Understanding your customers is knowing what specific problems or challenges they're having and how to solve them. So when you truly understand your customer's problem, you are in a better position to solve it. So a big part of getting to know your target customers is learning where they spend the majority of their time. So that's number three. Where do they spend the majority of their time? So when you get your message out there, when you advertise, when you promote, you need to know or that you have done so in the right places, in the right spaces, because you know that this is where your ideal customers spend most of their time. But it's also important that you use the right language also, because in knowing your customers, you know the type of language that they are likely to use. So if your business is mainly serving mature adults, you are going to have to use the language that mature adults understand. When you send them promotional material, when you send them WhatsApp messages, you can't use, shorthand, abbreviated sentences. So it's important to understand your customers, because it also helps you in knowing the language that they are going to use. So to truly know your audience is to truly understand how they talk and which words they connect with. What type of words, do they likely to understand? What type of words or sentences they connect with. So the best way to show them that you understand and care about their problems is to talk about those problems like they would. Is to start with where they are and understand where they are, and then move with them to the solution that you are trying to provide to them. So understanding your customers means spending more time knowing what type of languages they use and what type of words, phrases that they are likely to connect with easier. Number three, knowing your customers will also help you identify who your target audience is, because then you're able to sort of see, this is likely to be my target audience. And if this is my target audience, these are the type of things that they would likely do, so how to identify your target audience. You're asking yourself questions like, are your best customers mostly males or are they females? Are the majority of your best customers in a specific age group? Are they younger or are they matured adults? Where do they live? And does it matter where they live? Those type of questions. Do they own or rent their own homes? What type of cars are they likely to drive? What type of places are they likely to hang around? How do they spend their monies? Where do they spend their monies? When do they spend their monies? What are their hopes and dreams? So knowing your customers and spending time dating your customers also helps you in identifying who your best customers are likely to be. So it's important that you're able to do that. Are they avid social media users? If they're avid social media users, which platforms do they use? Are they using Facebook, Instagram, Twitter? If they're using Facebook, you are likely, if you are able to get into their profile, you're likely to find out their age, their location, their work history, their interests, the places that they have been, and you're able to get some insights into what type of customers are they. Not all customers, of course, will be on social media, and you might not know a lot about them, and that's okay, right? But whatever the case might be, it's never too late to start getting to know them. And another easy way to do that is to simply ask them. Send out some surveys would be an easier way. But when you do send out a survey, don't send out a 10, 15-minute questionnaire. Maybe send out a five questions questionnaire survey, and with very open-ended questions. Avoid yes or no type of answers because they tend to be very restrictive. So ask them questions like, how do you feel about this? When you went to your last holiday destination, what were you looking for? Those type of questions that will prompt them to say more than a yes or a no. Other ways to get to know your customers, hold an event. So have a networking event or have some panel discussion and invite them through. And you are then, based on your interaction with them, the type of questions they ask your panelists during networking event, you are then able to get a sense of who they are. So if it's possible, you have a physical office or you have a venue or a restaurant where you can invite them and have some form of a discussion with them, that will also go a very long way. And then another way of getting to know your customers would be create a customer profile, like a customer avatar. And an example would be a customer profile would be, for instance, if you sort of serving people from Hatfield area, and Hatfield is a suburb next to Pretoria University. You are likely to know that the customer profile for people in Hatfield are likely to be university students. And in knowing that this is a student village, so to speak, you're likely to know that students, for instance, they spend most of their money buying data, buying food, hair, image type of products, books, and maybe some form of entertainment. They're likely to start going out on Thursdays, Fridays, over the weekends. Their hopes and dreams is they want to pass their courses and graduate, and they want to become upstanding professionals in their communities. Their fears is, of course, failing and having to repeat a year in their programs. So you sort of get to understand what are their hopes and aspirations and where they spend their monies, and what they like doing. So you are able to then craft a customer profile based on the geography of where your target market stays. On the other hand, if you were to do a customer profile of people in the Sandton area, upmarket suburbs of Sandton in Johannesburg, you are likely to get a profile that says people around Sandton in Johannesburg are people who love going to restaurants, they love clothing boutiques, gadget stores. There are people who are well-traveled. They drive fairly expensive cars. They eat out quite often. So you are then likely to get a sense of a customer profile of people in the Sandton area. So you can also do that. You can research that online. You can find information online, and you're able to get a sense of the customer profile in that geography. So in conclusion, dating your customers is very, very important because you are likely to be conscious about the type of customers that you're going to target. And as a startup entrepreneur with very limited budget, you don't have budget to be making noise all the time. You want to target your limited budget to people who are likely to buy from you. So the time invested in knowing your customers will save you time that you would waste talking to strangers who don't care about you. So I hope this is helpful. Thank you so much.